We are at the 11th week mark of doing this fat loss transformation series. And as you know, I've been training from home, doing my cardio from home, or perhaps doing some stuff outdoors. But now the gyms are back open. The question is, does this change things? Hey, what's going on, guys? I definitely want to apologize for taking so long in uploading my content between videos for the weekly check-ins. It's been a while. I'm pretty sure some of you are looking up to these types of videos to provide you some of that inspiration, perhaps motivation. And I'm just talking live here in a sense because I know years later I might even look at these videos and reflect on how the challenges and potentially some of the obstacles I experienced might help kind of remind me as a refresher how I handled it. So again, this is not only just for you guys, but it's also for me, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I may have to go through a diet again. I know I will. And some of these videos help me kind of as my anchor to kind of bring me back, keep me grounded in a sense when things are getting a little bit chaotic. So I hope that these videos find you well as well, and providing you some type of anchor for you to as a source of inspiration, perhaps some motivation. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this week's stats because there's a lot to talk about in this video. So as you can see here, my weekly average for this week, week 11, is 185.7 pounds. My average body fat percentage is 13.72, which is pretty much the same as the week prior. But my overall weight lost for this week was a half pound. It's pretty much like it's a bummer. You know, it's not where I want to be, anywhere near where I want to be. But you know, hey, I'll take half a pound. You know, I'm probably going through a lot of stress and holding on to some water weight. But hey, I'm still losing weight. Measurements are still consistent. You know, my strength is still good in the gym. So these are all positive signs. It's just a matter of being patient and waiting to see what happens the following week. It is the last week next week, the week 12. So I look forward to that as well and going over that. But for right now, let's take a moment and congratulate yourself if you've been doing this fat loss transformation. You guys have made it this far. It's not easy. It's really challenging. If you have been training from home, it's really challenging. And if you've been doing a diet for over 12 weeks, you know, or even shorter, perhaps aggressive with your cut, it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of mental and emotional resources that are being used for you to attain your goal. So if no one else has noticed it, and you know you've been putting in the time, you've been consistent, you're doing 100% with integrity, tracking everything and ensuring that you're doing the best that you can, and not towards better than anyone else. It's just you being better than your previous self. Congratulate yourself. Hear me tell you, you're freaking awesome. You know what I'm saying? I really mean that. You're awesome. You did your very best, and you have literally transformed your mind, body, and spirit. And if my videos at any point or anything I've said along the lines with my content had provided some assistance in helping you attain your goal, or perhaps see things a little bit different, or change perspectives, motivate you, inspire you. I mean, even if I pissed you off at any point in time, as long as I pushed you in a direction where it has positively influenced change, do me a favor, let me know in the comment section below, or perhaps hit a like and you know, or shout out, whatever helps kind of reciprocate that energy, that positivity. So again, good job. Now let's get back into what this week's topic is all about. Going back to the gym. What's going to happen now? What's going to change? Not much. There's just 1 week left. It does offer more energy, hope, and enthusiasm to push through because I'm, you know, already feeling burnt out. Not just from the diet, but from even more restriction on what I do, the work-life balance, and so on. Basically, I'm meeting a diet, physical, and mental deload. Now look, going back to the gym does mean a few changes. I'm talking mentally and physically. We all have been in quarantine now for a while. I live in California and things are just now getting better, but there are just way too many people who don't believe in this virus, or that this pandemic is a hoax, you know, was intentional or came from a lab and not from a bat. You know, whatever. We can all agree, however, that this pandemic has changed things. So to keep in scope, we have to transition back into the gym and fitness life slowly, or at least however our bodies allow us. But in my view, it's just take your time. I personally have a ton of work to do with my mobility, including my hips, hamstrings, and my upper body. In general, it's really tight. All right. Remember, I do a lot of content work. I'm sitting at home, watching my kid. It's not a lot of fun stuff I could be doing. So essentially, my body's just like rigid, and I am working on this as well. As I lift heavier, go on to more compound lifts and whatnot, and get back into running. All of that will start to take place, and I will be working on my mobility. All of my barbell lifts are fairly light, and yet they feel like a planet is over me or I'm pulling gravity. It just feels off. And with my body weight dropped, my leverages for compound lifts are just not the same. And I'm sure you know what that feeling is like for you if you've lost 15 pounds or more. If you were into lifting in the past and noticed how your movement differences in your lifts are not the same, or perhaps maybe you were a lot thinner, and when you had gained, you noticed it to be a little bit easier on the compound lifts. So yes, transitioning must be taken slowly, or at least taken in a structured manner, just kind of transitioning, you know what I'm saying? And I'm certain that after 3 to 5 weeks consistent gym training, I will be much better with my lifts, improved movements, and my muscle bellies being more filled. And the last thing I want to talk about here might be a touchy subject, but it must be discussed. And it's some of my observations with my environment. And the whole point of what I do here in this channel is to share my experiences and my knowledge, tie them in together to help you, as I always say in the beginning, right, to optimize our human performance and potential. And part of that is to provide some self-awareness, support, and encouragement to nourish the elements of the mind, body, and spirit. So these past 2 years were rough. It could be from politics, the higher increased level of crime rates, whether it be from the police or whether it just be civilians, to the obvious pandemic. We all experience some form of mental and emotional challenge. Stress, basically. Stress is a good thing and is very healthy for us to improve our capabilities, get stronger, making us more resilient and whatnot. But it's only until we have poor coping strategies or lack the ability to adapt that stress becomes a problem. A lot of people lost their loved ones, jobs, dreams, opportunities, and so on. I may have briefly lost my ability to do what I love, but that's nothing compared to what most people experienced. And with that said, the stress levels of people are starting to increase more and more. Now look, things are in fact getting back to normal in a sense, or slowly opening back up. But when you experience chronic stress, I don't know if you ever experienced chronic stress. I know for sure if you served in the military, had gone through basic training or boot camp, you have experienced chronic stress. And you will at some point get burnt out, but you still push through. Now, after that, there is a period, a transition time where you recover, right? And when these same stressors initially that were there are no longer there, your ability to recover and adapt takes a while to reach back to normal levels. Now, in translation to what's going on in our society is that we all want to see changes happen now, but we're still in that transition phase. I'm talking about our stressors and our stress levels. We're still in that stress level transition to back to normal, but instead we just want everything to happen right now. And stores are, like I said, opening back up, but there's still some mandates and requirements about our masks and social distancing. But then you have people who are like, nah, man, fuck that. I don't care. I'm tired of wearing a mask. I'm tired of this whole thing. And this whole thing is a joke. People are still stressed out and impatient, despise the positive direction of things. As things get back to normal gradually, so should we. I emphasize gradually. Sadly, many people are simply just stuck on survival mode and lack the ability to cope or recover effectively from these deeply fatiguing states. And for those of us who are living in survival mode, are the very same ones that are in a increased state or likelihood to drive recklessly, causing this road rage, causing mass shootings, not wearing their masks in places that require it, social distancing, and so on. It's the same people that hate how things are in our society. They want to see change. Guys, look, as I mentioned earlier, I miss the gym, and I don't want it shut down again because of some entitled, impatient, and inconsiderate people. I want to accomplish a few fitness goals, and I'm willing to follow the rules or policies if I'm helping make a positive difference. That's just me. And while I do expect that in everyone else, we just have to face reality and know that it's not a realistic goal or outcome, sadly. So here's my takeaway messages. We have to learn to adapt, and sometimes that just means it takes time. Adapting to changes builds our resilience and capacity to thrive in life. Going back to normal, or in this case, going back to the gym, just means that we have a transition now that will take time, that we have to use lighter loads, work on our mobility, getting familiar with the, just our goals in general. But it's not only to focus on our own well-being, it's also being a little considerate to the person on the left and right. And this is because not everyone is aware that they are on survival mode. How I look at it is that when I want to thrive in life and encourage you to thrive in life, it is to help you become stronger, confident, courageous, and resilient. Whereas those of us who are in survival mode are the exact opposite, right? You have people who are experiencing weakness or are deconditioned, people who experience doubt, fear, or who are afraid, rigidity, or possibly even fragility. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. People be like, oh, this guy's a snowflake, woman, snowflake, or always complaining something happened. You know what I'm saying? There's something going on, right? Survival mode is kicking in. Whereas those who are thriving understand what's happening, right? They're situationally aware, they're self-aware. They're also able to work in a stressful environment and work with people, not against them, and being able to support and encourage them. And so the next thing here is that you can't bring old and shitty habits into new and uncharted territory. You want to see change, you yourself have to create that change. You have to change your mental and physical state. You want to see differences, it always starts with you. And I'm talking about your perspectives, your way of thinking, how you're feeling, how it's impacting you. What do you do? And that requires a lot of self-awareness and regulation. But it starts with you. We all went through some rough shit, guys. And it's up to us here, at least, to take this experience and turn it into something positive. So that way we don't repeat the same mistakes. That's all for this video. I truly appreciate you taking the time and hearing me out and sharing my thoughts as well. And I really hope that it provided you with some inspiration, motivation, or anything along the lines of helping you kind of have a new perspective or perhaps influence positive change. That is always the goal here. But as always, if you liked the video, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you believe someone can benefit from watching this video, share it. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.